Hi Ronit, it's a pleasure to have you on board.
Hi, thank you.
So to begin with, can you tell our viewers your educational background and how that helped you land where you are today?
So I did my bachelor's from Kingston University, London, and I graduated in 2017. After that, when I came back to India, I started working with this company, Tresvista Financial Services. So it's basically like a KPO. We do back-end work for investment banks, private equities, hedge funds. So I was working there for a year, and that was my starting point of my career. And post that, I also did a stint with my family business for like 8 months, and post which I got into investment banking at my current firm with Candid Partners.
Okay, so you worked at Tresvista and then you transitioned to Candid Partners.
Correct.
Are there any similarities between your work or like your work is completely different now?
So it's there are like a lot of similarities, but the differences is that Tresvista was more for back office KPO work for clients based out of US, and investment banking, it's like front end client facing role where you deal with clients and you go to meetings with them. Work related, so when you start your career, it's more of Excel, PowerPoint. During your early stages of your career, you're the one executing things. So that's more work is pretty much same during the early stages of the career. But as you progress, I think it's more about introducing yourself to clients, closing deals. So there's like a personal touch to your work more than just like executing and sending stuff in a back office for the other bankers to then face their clients.
So is like investment banking as a whole, is it more tech oriented or client oriented, or does that depend on what level you are at?
It's not actually tech oriented, but it's more of, so it's a relationship business. So investment banking, you need a network to get deals to you. Tech has tech could be a part of it, but it's not completely tech. But you need to face your clients and get in touch with them and discuss with them, and more than doing remote work and executing and just sending things.
So Tresvista, if I'm not wrong, was more of the back end work. And then when you move to Candid Partners, that is the perfect mix of tech and...
Yeah.
Okay. So to continue with that, what is the general trajectory of a person working in investment banking, like the career trajectory? Where do you start and how do you proceed?
So when you start as an analyst. Analyst program is basically for like 2 to 3 years, and post which you get promoted to an associate, which is again 2 to 3 years, and after that you become a VP. So a lot of people in mostly bulge brackets, they get stuck at the VP stage. Like it's very hard to progress post the VP stage. So it depends on your performance, the number of deals you get, number of clients you get to get promoted to an MD or ED. So that's the hierarchical structure in our investment.
Okay. So Candid Partners is a boutique investment bank. Can you tell us why did that appeal to you over a bulge bracket? And can you also tell our listeners and viewers what is the difference between the two?
So the reason a boutique investment bank I found it more attractive was basically like I spoke to many people and I talked to many people. I spoke to people on LinkedIn working at Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and I also spoke to people who are working with boutique investment banks, smaller companies, smaller funds. So I found out that as like at least when you start your career, you need like end-to-end experience, like right from deal origination to deal closing. And that experience, I hope that you get mostly in a boutique investment bank. And it also made sense to me. Compared to a bulge bracket where it's very hierarchical and like everyone has their own different tasks, then everyone doing everything. So in a boutique investment bank, as an analyst, you'll be working on everything, right from going to client meetings to deal closing. So that's what attracted me the most, and that's why I chose to join a boutique investment bank over a bulge.
Okay, so at your boutique bank, do you work on multiple deals at once?
Absolutely. So, at least depending on which bank you're working at, depending on the deal flow, your experience in that sector, you are allocated to at least 3 to 4 deals. Like at least at my firm, like 3 to 4 deals are simultaneously working together.
Okay, and does your company or firm in specific, do you all like just focus on M&A or are there like other domains? Like Bulge Bracket, if we talk about it, they have a lot of different domains.
Right.
What do you all focus on?
Bulge Bracket has a lot of domains, like they have investment banking, they have wealth management, they have private wealth, they have private wealth and equity research, and so on and so forth. But in a boutique investment bank, like with the company where I'm working, we mostly do M&A and we do capital raising deals. So it's like the products and services we offer are very limited, but that's like you get to know everything about both those things in and out. That's
Would you ever work at a Bulge Bracket?
yeah. Like it's a like maybe somewhere down the line if I have better opportunities and uh, I would definitely consider depending on where I am, my position in my career.
Okay, so my next question is there's a very big misconception that work in IB in India is more on the back end side. Like even when there are deals going on in the States, for example,
Right.
all the document work, legal work gets transferred to India.
Right.
Is that true or is it just a misconception?
So the thing with bulge brackets in India is they have two different teams. One is the back back office for the US banks, and they also have a India coverage team, which is the front end for the deals in India. So that's basically the difference about the two things. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I think everyone wants to know what does your day as an investment banker look like? Can you walk us through it?
So there's never a typical day in investment banking. No 2 days are the same. You're working on different deals. Every deal is a different experience. Every deal in this world is a different experience. So there are a lot of ups and downs. What so most during the initial stages of your career, it's mostly execution work. Basically, what you'll be doing is Excel and crunching data in Excel and making PowerPoint decks and making financial models. Uh, so it's not the same, but the skills required for each deal, for skills required for like Excel, PowerPoint are used in like you use them like all the time. So to that level, you can call it the same, but like daily you keep using these two tools as in your day-to-day lives. But as you progress, like the whole structure, like it's all different. Like you will be having different negotiations for different deals with different clients, different sectors.
So do you often end up working till 2 a.m. in the morning?
Those are rookie numbers. It's much past that, and sometimes you get done early also. Sometimes it's an all nighter also, depending on the urgency of the work and the strict timelines that you're working on.
So it sounds like it's a very high pressure job. What is your way out of the pressure?
My way, so to get away with it, whenever I have time, I just spend. I go to the gym, I work out, I go for a run, I listen to something, or just spend time with myself. That's my way out.
And again, like when we talk about that, the work-life balance, like investment banking is notoriously famous for having a negligent work-life balance.
Right.
Does that ever change? Like when you progress in your career, does that change?
Though the hours do get better as you progress in your career. As an analyst or an associate, you'll be spending a lot of time in the office working. But down the line, hours do get better because the most of the data crunching and execution work is done by the analyst and associate, and the deal making, the negotiations, client facing, that is done by VP and above levels. So ours do get better as you progress.
So you started working at Candle Partners in September of 2019,
Right.
and then the pandemic hit. So you were shifted to work from home immediately.
Right.
And as we know, and as you said, that investment banking is a very client-focused, like your people skills need to be good.
Right.
What changes did you witness?
During the initial stages, during the March 2020, when we didn't know what was happening, that time it was uh, really difficult. Like everything was on hold. Like we all were trying to process like what's happening. But down the line, like we got back to normal. All started working from home. We had online meetings, Zoom meetings with clients, and like everything was like nothing seemed so different because we all were like focused on the deals only. It just felt like we were not in the office. That's what it was. But work wasn't impacted as such because even the clients understand that like everyone's working from home because of the pandemic. So everything was done remotely, and all the deals, discussions, executions, coordinations, everything was done on call or video call, and that's how we progressed the whole pandemic. In fact, there was so in 2021 also there was another lockdown. So I think so during that phase also, I think we were all prepared. We were used to it. So uh, it was it like we did the exact same thing, and it was a very smooth process. Basically, it wasn't like it wasn't like we had a very bad year or we didn't know what to do. We were not getting deals. In fact, during the lockdown stage, the deal it was seen that the deal values and also the number of deals was very high, like only because the companies, so a lot of businesses were not able to function, and they wanted to sell their assets. So I personally saw a lot of asset acquisitions taking place during that phase, and because companies wanted to liquidate for money, and the number of deals were very high during that phase. So it was a very good year for us as a company.
All right. So M&A as a whole occurs in waves, right? And to my knowledge, the seventh wave started in 2015. But in the past 2 years, the activity has significantly picked up. And as you said, because a lot of companies wanted to liquidate their assets. What was that one deal that caught your eye and piqued your curiosity?
So one deal. So I talk about a recent deal that really caught my eye. So it just happened like 2-3 days back. It was JK Paper Limited. It's a listed company. They acquired two companies, Horizon Packs and Security Packs Packaging. So it was an M&A deal, and it was roughly around 570 or 580 crores. They invested that amount into both the companies, and so what really interesting was that even I'm working with a client who's into packaging right now, and we were having initial discussions, and the pitching stage was going on, and he was very conservative, and he wasn't sure about like if his company will get acquired at the right value, because he couldn't see any other company in the same space uh, getting the right value, and the numbers that we were pitching to him were looking very rosy. So so I think this deal, like basically it's into a corrugated packaging space, and the deals in this space are very limited. So we gave like these deals help us a lot in pitching the clients basically. So we can tell them that this company was acquired at so and so multiple, and so these two companies, they were roughly acquired at like uh 9 times EBITDA, and these two deals we'll be using to, like, it's more for convincing the client that you can show him that, see, this company has been acquired for this much value, and your business is even better, even more profitable. So what makes you think that your company won't be acquired for this and this value? So it really helps. And so this one deal is constantly in my head right now.
So talking about packaging specifically, even I was working. I did an internship, and the deal I worked on was packaging deal, and again it was corrugation and honeycomb. So do you think that as the world shifts more towards green energy, green environment, these packaging companies, the small ones that are focusing more on green packaging, a lot of activity can be witnessed in that sector?
Yeah, of course, like everyone's going all green. So there's a lot of discussions and news. Yeah, these companies are there, and there are a lot of funds who are into like uh, they are into like impact investing and caring about more about the environment. And also definitely these companies who care about the environment, they have a good scope of getting acquired by or getting invested into by these clients. And there are also HNIs who are looking to invest in such companies.
Right. So that's where ESG comes in.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So, like all the viewers, listeners, everyone knows that to get into investment banking, it's a struggle, right?
Right.
What were the hurdles you faced, and what advice would you give to anyone who wants to make it? Are there any particular skill sets a person should develop, or is there any particular educational background that can help a person?
Right. So it's a very competitive journey to get into investment banking because the acceptance ratio is like less than 5%, maybe like 3%, because there are a lot of candidates applying to like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, but it it's not very easy. But the banks usually look at your overall profile, like what you studied, what you did there. They look at leadership in your resume. They are not just like you interned at this and this company, you did this work. No, they want to see leadership. They want to see you leading a team. They want to see what you did that the company benefited from. Uh, so, like for example, if you're in a college, if you were a head of some team or you led a group into this and this activity, or you participated in a what do you call it, in an event where you managed everything. They want to see those guys. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be related to finance.
So, like case study competitions, if you participate.
Case study competitions or just like something NGO related stuff where you taught children, you help children to uh, to progress or in some way. They want to see that. They want to see that you did something to someone and it changed something. It did something big. So we want to see leadership things. And so as education wise, like I don't think investment banking, like whatever skills and all you need, I think they can be learned on the job. Like I don't focus too much on education. Like you need to go to this and this school, you need to do this and these things to to get into investment banking. But that's the reality. They invest. They only investment banks only hire from target schools. So it really helps if you go to a target school. But on an overall level, I don't see how it makes any difference. It's more of a personalized experience, like what skills you have, what the journey that you've been through. Though the number one skill that you need to get into investment banking is like uh, PowerPoint and Excel, advanced skills in these two things, because most of your time during your early stint in a career will be spending almost every day doing you're working in these two softwares. So I think, and you need to be very good with these, like join a course. There are a lot of videos on YouTube which will help you a lot. Also you need to own your financial modeling skills. The basic requirement is you need to be able to build a three-statement financial model. So that's what will be expected from you from day one. So you need to get get these skills on your resume, because these are the skills that the recruiter looks for, like financial modeling, PowerPoint presentations. These are eye-catching words here. So this is one thing, and
Can you talk a little bit more about the soft skills? Like, obviously, you need good communication skills. You spoke about leadership, but then people skills. Does that matter a lot?
so yeah, you need to be you need to be able to network very efficiently. You need to be, because you'll be dealing with clients, you need to be able to communicate with clients. You'll be speaking to CEOs, you'll be speaking to managing directors. What the opinion you're trying to convey has to reach to them effectively. So it's very important uh, you're good with your communication skills, and it needs to be professional is what I'm trying to say. So
So articulation, structured way of talking. Okay. What are the exit options when it comes to investment banking? Are there like particular fields you can look at?
So exit options, there are like a lot of exit options. Most of the people end up going to the buy side, which is like private equity, hedge funds. They join family offices, where they get to work on deals at a more from a buying perspective than compared to investment banking, which is more of a sell side business. Uh, Apart from these, they will also go to startups or like big Fortune 500 companies where they join their strategic teams who are into M&A and business development and all. Startup is also an interesting exit opportunity for investment bankers, where they either build their own startup or they join a startup in their corporate development. So these are the exit options for most of the bankers.
Okay, so say tomorrow that you leave investment banking. Would you go to any of these fields?
Yeah, I mean, depending on which stage of my career I'm in and depending on what I want at that point of my life, I would definitely choose one of these options.
Which one?
If you ask me today, I want to focus on sales side only. I don't, right now I'm not in a situation that I want to move to a buy side. But if I had to pick one, I would pick like maybe private equity, where I get to get some of the buy side experience also, how it is and all. So it's pretty interesting.
So if you weren't an investment banker, like from the start, would you directly want to go into private equity? Like, would you consider it as an entry or just as an exit opportunity?
It's like it's very difficult to like directly get into private equity because you don't have any experience. But I think if I wasn't an investment banker, I would probably join my family business only and continue with it and helping. I'm working alongside with my dad and helping it to grow internationally and globally. That would be my thing if I wasn't an investment banker.
Okay. My next question is, what are your comments on the Twitter deal?
So I think the Twitter deal has been going on. It's a very long time. It started early this year and they finally closed this year after a lot of ups and downs going on between Elon Musk and the Twitter executives. Uh, but I think that the Twitter deal, it's a good space for Elon Musk to expand into.
Sorry to interrupt you, but every deal has a strategic rationale, right? So if you talk about Elon Musk, he has Tesla, he has SpaceX. So why a social media platform?
Exactly, it's called diversification.
But isn't this unrelated diversification?
No, not really. Diversification doesn't always have to be related. The whole point of diversification is that it's not related. It's something new. It's something where you want to explore, something where you want to invest a small part of your money also. So I think social media is nowadays everything. Everything happens on social media. So having a stake in an entity like Twitter, I think it's a big deal. And I think his intention was also that to get into he claims that it's about free speech, but getting into a part of social media, which is the future of tomorrow, is what his intentions were for acquiring Twitter.
Okay. Now, like we've spoken a lot about your professional life. Apart from that, you've completed your undergrad in London.
Right.
How was that experience for you?
So, London was a very pleasant experience. It was my first time staying overseas, in a different country, in a different land where I didn't know anyone. Uh, I since it was my first experience, like I had to learn it the hard way, because everything in India I was handed over to, and uh, like everything I wanted was given to me, and while over there I had to work for it. Like it was like a reality check for me for the life that I'm going to live going forward. But it was been a very pleasant experience. I got to meet new people, experiencing different cultures, different kinds of foods. I think meeting different people with different perspectives, which I would never know, like how people think. There are a lot of ways to answer the question, and the group studies and the case studies in Kingston Business School really helped me to progress in my career. In fact, when I went to UK for my bachelor's, I didn't even know something like finance, a field called finance even existed. It was more of marketing, HR, operations, and business development. All these streams were in front of me, but I didn't know something like finance until the second year of my university, where I came across the elective called finance. And when I went through it, I found it really interesting. I thought, let's give this a shot, and that's where I got introduced to the world of finance. Uh, so basically, I didn't know I wanted to get into investment banking like until my second or third year, until I read about it and to understand what it is. Uh, so so yeah, overall London was like I got to travel everywhere. I went to different places and made friends. I had a few friends from India also we traveled together with, and yeah, it was a good experience as a
Did
for my
you
career.
become more independent?
Of course, like starting with making your own food, to washing your own clothes, and all those things that you didn't do in India, which were handed over to you. Uh, like you had to do it by yourself, and it really helps getting you independent as a person, and also it intrinsically impacts your career also, as when you work where you work independently, especially for an investment banker where the skill is very important.
Okay, so to end with, we know that the world of finance has been glamorized by movies like The Wolf of Wall Street. In reality, is it the same way, or is that just a movie?
It's nothing like that movie. It's mostly it's a desk job. You aren't. So they say when you are into investment banking, you will be surrounded with models and bottles. So the only models you're going to be surrounded with are the financial models. So it's like they painted a very rosy scene in the movie, but it's more of it's a fast paced, high pressure job. It's very difficult for average people to like succeed in it. Like so people are looking for work life balance. So during the initial stages, it's definitely not that. So anyone considering they want to have a work life balance and have a good time and easy work, less pressure, those people should not consider getting into investment banking if that's what they are looking for in life. But for someone who wants to like succeed and succeed in the initial few stages, and so that later they have a comparatively relaxing life, I think for them it's a very good path. But they need to do they need to have what it takes to get into this. It's because there are like because I'm telling you, like I've seen people quitting every week. Like they just get into it, and then after a couple of weeks, they can't take the pressure and they quit. So it's like it's like a waste of time for them also, and it's also a cost to the company. So so if anyone's like planning to get into investment banking, they need to be very well prepared for what's coming at them. Read about it, speak to more people, network with more people. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn who will help you and who will answer your questions about this field. But yeah, someone who's ready to work at least like 15, 16 hours a day, uh, uh, working working alongside people in so it's more about a team experience. Like a team experience. Like it's more about the team has to succeed and not on a personal level. So that's what they should look forward before making a decision if they want to get into this or not.
But anyway, what is one movie recommendation you would give to every finance graduate?
So the finance movie that I really liked was The Big Short. It was like that was the first one of the first finance movies I watched, and it's a very like it was a very good experience. Like what all happens in finance, like it's the biggest plot twist. Like unexpected things happen, like you can't predict. So that's what I really liked about it. There's another movie called Boiler Room. Again, it's more about sales and trading. But all these are very motivational movies. I like them because they are motivational. They give you a perspective about how the real world is. So yeah, these are the movies I really liked about finance.
I think this was a great conversation and it really opened our eyes about investment banking and how it's a high pressure, very stressful job despite being a desk job.
Absolutely.
So thank you for enlightening our viewers and I hope you had fun.
My pleasure. It was really great discussion, and I really feel happy about helping the young aspirants who want to get into investment banking. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you soon.